Can you hear me now? Yes? Yes. Okay. It says that well, at least I can't see you guys for the moment for some reason. Um, can you guys see me? Yes. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So turn on your videos. I wonder what happened here. Let's see. Mm, Yes. Okay. Let me come get out of the meeting and then come in again. All right. So yeah, this is really weird. I just have a really weird format. Some reason you guys are like in a super tiny box, and then I have a big black box in front of me. So hold on. Hmm, Okay. There's a little scrolly thing. Let's see. Scrolly thing. Oh, look at that. Thank you. That's never come up before. All right. So yeah, presentation mode. Right. Okay. So it looks fine now, I think. You see me fine, right? Like no weird boxes or anything like that. Okay. Cool. So yeah. We have just under 40 minutes. So take your time with your thoughts and go ahead in order, just like we've been doing. So HE, Alex, and so on, and just hand it off yourselves. Okay. So HE, I don't think we can hear you if you are talking. Okay, you're typing. All right, you guys. So it cut out for me. For some reason, I couldn't see the discussion, but um, is Alex next? Did he already go or no? All right.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, guys, can you hear me? The
Yes.
first video was very interesting because I think it relates to our. Can you guys hear me? I don't know. Okay, you
Yeah.
guys can hear me. That's
Yes.
good.
Yes. You're fine the
The
whole
first
time.
video was very interesting because woman explained how like the difference between people who are confident and the people who are like felt vulnerable and kind of like afraid of everything were just like what they believe. And I feel like it relates to our discussion how children often ask better questions because as they go into this new world, they're not really afraid of anything. They're just exploring, they're just learning, they're just like trying to see new things. And they're not grown up to a point yet where they're afraid of what somebody's gonna think of them or what society says is wrong or too stupid to ask or too, you know, out there. So I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of times in this like the previous videos we saw, children came up with more creative solutions. Um, is because they're not vulnerable, they're not afraid. But like as we grow up, we go into this focused path, and if we differ from it, we're judged a lot. And I think that you don't get that with younger people. And the second video was very interesting. The guy was funny. The second video was interesting because he talks about how we have like as we get better grades, we have to get better ones. We have to get better. We're not never satisfied, and it relates to our topic of technological advancement. So we're not never satisfied with what we achieve or what we create. So we constantly evolve and constantly create new things, and that creates new waste. And in a consumer society, we never stop. We never get satisfied with what we achieve, which is bad because we destruct the environment in the process. And third year was I found interesting is because it talked about habits and how routine it kind of dulls our minds, so we only remember like the key moments in our life or change moments in life. So, and I think that relates somewhat to like our concept of changing, our context of changing consumer behavior to save Earth is we have to do it step by step in order to make the people think it's like normal, because if we do it too abruptly or we do it too quickly, it's gonna be too harsh and it's not gonna be adopted on the mass scale. And that's it.
Thank you. Great.
Okay, I'm next, right?
I think
Can you hear
so.
me?
I'm letting you guys handle yourselves.
All right. Okay. So I love the vulnerability video. I've actually seen that before. I right after spring break this year, I had like the solid worst week of my life. And it was like my boyfriend of a year and a half broke up with me. I fell down my stairs, got a concussion. My volleyball team didn't qualify for nationals. Like it was literally one thing after another, all within like 4 days. And so my advisory at school, like my really good friends, they pulled me into a classroom, they turned the video on, and they said, like, Callie, like everything's falling apart right now, but it means that something great is coming because,
Yes.
you know, like you're really vulnerable right now and things are totally backwards for you and you're having to like relearn everything. You're having to find a new team, having to make up so much schoolwork. You're having to like learn to talk to boys again. And it's going to be okay. Like you're going to be totally happy. You just have to give it time. And like that video just like changed my perspective on everything. And so I watching it again made it, I mean, even more powerful, I think, because I missed stuff that I when I watched it the first time. And she's really funny. I like her. But I also really liked what they were talking about with how you can train yourself to be compassionate and you can train yourself not to hold grudges and things like that in the other videos. I think they all kind of touched on that, but that's something that like I want to work on personally. So I really enjoyed all of them though.
Great. Yeah, that's really funny. It would have been funny if it wasn't so sad, like moments, right? If
It's
it
funny
happens
now.
to some, yeah, it's funny now.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And whenever there's like something really tough happening, if what he's saying, like one of the speakers said, if you can view some sort of like dramatic happenings in your life as not like a threat to your survival, but as like a challenge, and something is being like, whenever I have tough things come up, I get really excited, because I know change is about to happen. You know what I mean? Like the tectonic plates are moving and something better is coming into my life. And so I always expect something better, because something old isn't working anymore, either for my good, whether I realize it or not, or something I've seen and I kind of was like, oh, I don't want to deal with it. And it's finally coming apart and breaking off. And if you take that as like like when you go to the airport and you're a kid and you feel so excited because there's adventure coming. That's the same way I treat change. I'm not resistant to it. I start to embrace it. So, so that's a really, it's such a, it's such a better way to live your life, because it makes life wonderful. Yeah. So, thank you. Alex, I think your microphone is on and we heard you sneeze. Bless you.
Thank you.
Right, I think it's me now. Can everyone hear me?
Mm-hmm.
So like Callie, I had also watched the first video, and I wasn't going through like those types of problems, but like I was distancing myself from my family and at the time, and I was kind of really absorbed in schoolwork instead of like talking to them and stuff. So my dad showed me this video to actually show that like being vulnerable and talking to people about your problems, that it can it's kind of the key to happiness. And it was really funny watching this again. I mean, you think back, and I guess you do, as you grow up, start learning to be a little bit more vulnerable. I really loved the second video. I mean, it's kind of like what we've been learning about how less is more in a way. Like we don't need to spend hours and hours learning the most complex numbers in education and like immersing ourselves in books for hours to be happy. Because happiness, like dreams, they every time you get to a dream, you have another one. And I guess if we just live in the moment, I guess the big message of that video is that we have to live in the moment and like love what we have and not just keep wishing for more all the time. And that's a huge problem which our society has. I mean, we're always wishing for greater things when really what we have is amazing already. And the third video, it was really interesting, and I guess it was really technical as well, with all the brain imaging and cortex or whatever. But I really liked it. I mean, it's cool to think that we can teach ourselves to be more compassionate, and we have to ingrain that and practice that. And I guess that's quite the message of the course. I mean, everything we've been seeing up to now is how to practice to be more sustainable and how to be better people in a way. And I guess the more we do it, the more we go out to the world and show what we have learned, the better things will be, the better the world will be. So yeah.
Wonderful. Yay. Okay, hold on. So we're gonna take a second. So Shijuan, can anybody send the links again? So what was the deal there? What happened? Can somebody let's see what somebody can paste those links again with the Vimeo version of the last video, please. I guess either you didn't get it because of a connection issue, I'm assuming, or something. So is that, thank you. Thank you. Okay, great. So there you are. All right, keep going, guys. Okay, Chloe's rejoining. Sijuan, you fell asleep in front of your laptop? Is that what happened? Yeah, that's a tough situation indeed. So yeah, you are you guys are watching the class. What time is it your time when you're watching it? It's nighttime, right? Is that right, Sijuan? 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Yeah, that sucks. That really sucks. I'm sorry. Ah, for that. Yeah. Don't do that again. Don't take a class like that. It's not good for your health. But so you're excused. Just watch it. I think you'll really like the videos. So go ahead, guys.
You hear me?
Mhm.
Okay, so the three videos, I kind of took them as like steps to having a better outlook in life. Like the first one talked about accepting vulnerability and accepting who you are. And she said something about accepting that you are enough. I think she said something like that. And like, especially here and in my family and like the place where I grew up, we don't hear that often. Like we don't hear like everyone in our family is just like, oh, you have to do this. If you don't do this, hey, you're not good enough. Like disowning family members is still it's still a thing here. So I think that video really uh, it gave me like a different outlook, which is really good because now I'm going to think about that more. And the second video, that was what he said about like if you change the way you see the world, you can change your reality. Like I just thought that was quite brilliant because that shows that if you see the world negatively, it's not that you live in a negative world, you just have a negative outlook. And the last one was really cool. I didn't know that if you think about changing something over and over again, you could actually change it. Like it worked chemically. I just thought that was really amazing.
Yeah. So that's why change is so hard in the beginning because that's why we have habits. It's those networks are already formed, and so there's nothing else there. And so that's why you must be conscious in order to permanently change something in your life. The only way to do that is through being aware of the process. And the first stages are really hard because it's like, like my brain hurts, like that's what's going on. You're literally forming a new connection, and it's a muscle. If you keep firing it in the beginning, it's really, really hard. There's a lot more effort going into it. With time, that connection builds and it's much easier. And that's what the second video says. It takes 21 days to break a habit, or I don't remember the exact number of days, but that's what's going on there, literally. So that's why people live in victim mentality. That's why people are stuck in patterns. That's exactly what's going on. And you absolutely create your own reality. When we walk around, we're like bubbles of our own reality. We react completely differently based on what we put out to external events. And so we're living the same, in the same region, having the same jobs, and yet our world feels completely different based on what you put out and how comfortable you are in it. And it takes practice. So, yeah. All right, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, the first video, like two of the others prior to me, I had seen before. And the thing I liked most about the first video was the statement that the less you talk about shame, the more you have it. And that speaks that we all need someone we can say anything to and talk to, that we can relieve ourselves of our shame. The second video, I really liked that like intelligence was only a small percentage of success. That gave me a lot of hope because like I might not be the most intelligent person out there, but it's your outlook upon life. And what was the other thing? It was your ability to take stress as a challenge. That like gave me a lot of hope. 'Cause, like intelligence, not everyone has intelligence. Um, and then the third video, I just found that the whole science behind your brain rewiring itself due to its experiences and its outlook was very interesting. That's what I liked about the third video. So that's all I have to say.
Yay. Thank you. Yep.
All right, can you guys hear me? All right, for my experience with the first video was very interesting because I've never felt vulnerable. Like I've always opened up to people because I've never thought of the consequences, pretty much. So it was really interesting seeing what it was like what if you thought about it too much, if you thought too much about opening up to people. Like I never really gave it a second thought. Like what's the worst thing that can happen? I've just it never occurred to me for some reason. And then for second video, the guy was really funny, and since I'm more of a glasses half full kind of guy, I'm pretty happy that being happy can be a good thing in your life. Like it can impact you really. I'm really glad that that has an effect. And then for the third video, it was very informational, and yeah, that's pretty much my take on it.
Thank you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, all right. So these videos were very interesting, and they remind me a point of Earth in Mind, or explains that the crisis we face is not a crisis of knowledge, of technology, but the crisis is in our mind. And all these three people, the three speakers, they believe that if we are happy, positive, we will be able to deal with today's difficulties and to solve climate change by changing our ways of life. And in the second and the third video, there is a strong idea that we can train our brain to learn to be positive, just how we train our body. So it looks like maybe we can. The first step to fix what we did to the earth is maybe first to fix our minds.
Yes. Thank you, Cristobal. That's exactly what it comes down to. That is exactly where we're at. This is the crisis of humanity. It's what's inside. It's not the symptoms that we've already created.
Okay, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, after watching the first two videos, I guess I was just reminded of the power of positive thinking. Really, if you perceive the world in a positive light, you can really change your life. You're more productive in life. You feel better, and really just raises the quality of your life. And I also found the science, the actual science in the third video, on the neurological level, I found that really interesting too. The connections and habits.
Thank you. The best is yet to come and the better is yet to come. Thank you. Yes, that's what I believe. That's what I know to be true. Todd, so your mic doesn't work at all, right? So you've never been able to talk. Um, do you know what is the issue there? Can you remind me? After we read your post. Yes, totally. Thank you. Yeah, so can you just say what's going on? So you're using a phone, so it does not have a space bar other than the chat. Oh, okay. So you're using like an iPhone? Is that what you're doing for this? Or as I don't know how these type of things work. An Android. Uh-huh. I see. Oh, okay. Got it. See, your friends are telling you there's an app. I mean, I'm not too technologically savvy, so if it's complicated, don't worry about it. But it might be nice to hear your voice at some point. You're using, okay, so then I guess it'll be as it'll be. All right, don't worry. Okay, go ahead.
So what I got from all of these videos is that the way you think about everything can really affect me.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Okay, it just popped up that you can hear me. So the way that you think about everything can really affect how you feel about life and like when you go through life. Like if you feel all alone but you don't do anything to try and get out there and like not wallow in self-pity, then you won't have any connection like she talked about in the first video. If you think that everything's horrible and bad and we're all going to die because we're awful, then you're not going to be happy in your life and you're not going to be optimistic about things. And if you continue to have a positive outlook, then your negative opinions could change, like they talked about in the third video, like in your brain. But if you just continue to be negative about everything, then you're just going to lull yourself into this negative outlook about everything. And I think that's really interesting.
Thank you.
So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I think I'm next. So, if I were to be completely honest, I've watched, plenty dozens of these types of videos. So, probably the most actually interesting one for me was the third one, where I learned about the science behind it and how you can, affect your mind to change your way of thinking. However, the second video, I really I've heard many times the statement that happiness doesn't come from success. Success is happiness, basically. And I agree that in order to be successful, you need to first be happy rather than the other way around. Because I have plenty of friends at my school where it's all so stressful and none of them are happy. Just even though they get good grades, they get A's, but they're stressed out all the time. They have to do work 24/7, homework, studying all the time. But they're not happy with themselves. And my mom constantly works. She's the CEO of a startup company. She has to work all the time, and she is not always the most joyful person to be around. Sometimes she gets grumpy, even after she makes a big deal, because she's been working so hard. She often stays up, like you guys in China, till 3, 4 in the morning working on her deals. And it's only, I don't know, after she makes a deal that she's a little bit less exhausted. But it doesn't last long because she has to go through constant stress. Like my friends at school, it's not the most ideal situation to be in when you have to work so hard. You work hard, then you get small success, and then you can't stay happy because you're working just towards more successful things. You work and you work and you work, then you raise the bar on yourself and you work harder, and you have to be happy first, be successful later.
That's right. Thank you.
The video and happy can affect how you do it. Results. When we play ball games or some ball games, we can often find that some teams can have 4 or 5 losing streaks, but after winning one game, the team has a positive effect, and they could have 5 winning streaks. So positive effect can change individuals and teams.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. So let's see. So, Shijuan, were you the one who fell asleep? Remind me. Let's see. Yes, you were the one who fell asleep. Okay. So then, we're done with that. I want to let you guys know that I want you to do something for the conscious diary. So I want you to choose 3 things from now on until the end of class. Every day you write the diary. Write for the day in regards to what the second speaker talked about, right? So you can either write 3 things that you are grateful for, 3 new things, or 3 acts of kindness that you did that day or the day before. So it has to be 3 things, and whatever the combination of, good deeds or things that you're happy with is up to you. But so at the end of your diary, 3 things. Please include that from now on until through the end of class. So that is that. And for who isn't here, someone isn't here today. So whoever that is, can you guys pass on that information? That would be great. Does it need to be specific? It's up to you. I mean, I would think so. Like, for example, my dad had a stressful day, and so I helped him, run his errands, and whatever it is. Or I'm really grateful for today, the loving friends that I have, the fact that, my dog always cheers me up when I see her wag her tail, and the fact that my friends brought me ice cream, after a really bad cold that I had. So that type of thing, whatever it means to you, it's for yourself, right? You're breaking the habit. This is what this is for. So whatever works for you is what you should write, and I'll be looking. All right. So, so that's that's that. I think it's Thursday, right? It's the end of week 2. So we'll see you on Monday. Yeah, have a splendid, splendid weekend. Enjoy the planet, and uh, it's Friday in China. Yeah, there you go. It's like 1+ as this class ends on a Friday. Uh, all right. So I'll see you guys. If you have quick questions, you can write it in the chat, but otherwise, bye. Thanks.